פסחים, פרק 9. פסחים, 9th chapter. משנה א', first משנה. כתוב בפרשת בעלותך, it's written in פרשת בעלותך. We're talking about Pesach, 9th chapter is going to start talking about Pesach Sheni, specifically the laws of Pesach Sheni, the second Pesach. Right now, this Friday, השגחה פרטית. איש, man, כי יהיה טמא לנפש, if he's going to be impure to a soul, או בדרך רחוקה לכם, or with a long way away, או לדורותכם, to you or to continuous generation, ועשה פסח להשם, so what should he do? If he was impure or far away, he should make פסח להשם, he should make a פסח to God, בחודש השני, on the second month, ב-14 יום, בין 4 יעשו אותו. In the 14th day, in the afternoon, he should make it. על מצות ומרורים יאכלוהו, you should eat it together with מצות and מרור. לא ישירו ממנו עד בוקר, you should not relieve from it until morning, ועצם לא ישברו בו, nor should you break a bone in it. ככל חוקת הפסח יעשה אותו. Whatever you did in the first seder, you should do in the second seder. והאיש אשר הוא טהור ובדרך לא היה, and a person who was pure, and he was right there in ירושלים, וחדל לעשות הפסח, and he didn't bring the Pesach sacrifice, you know what happens to that man? ונכרתה הנפש שהיא מהמאה. We're going to cut this soul away from the Jewish nation. כי קורבן השם הוא לא הקריב במועדו, because he didn't bring the sacrifice of God, חטאו יישא האיש ההוא. He's going to carry out his sin. So, 4 משניות הראשונות, the first 4 mishnahs are going to discuss all the details of this statement. There's going to be a lot of details here. שפרקן שהולכת בהלכות פסח שני. So we're going to have 4 משניות learning 4 rules about פסח שני. Not 4 rules, many rules. So let's start. מי שהיה טמא, somebody who was impure, ב-14 בניסן, בשעת שחיטת הפסח. He was impure at the time of the slaughtering of the Pesach sacrifice. He had a funeral that morning. It's חבר קדישה. או שהיה בדרך רחוקה. Or he was far away. We don't know what far away means, but he was far away. במקום שהוא רחוק מבית המקדש, in a place that is far away from the temple, and we're going to learn what far away means in הלכה ב', next Mishnah. ולא עשה את הראשון, and he didn't do the first one, because he can't. He wasn't able to, because he's impure, or he's far away. את הפסח הראשון בעשרה שנה, יעשה את השני. Easy, we're giving him a solution, you can go do the second פסח. הפסח השני ב-14 באייר כמפורש בתורה. וכן, also, not only he was impure or far away, וכן אם שגג. He made a mistake. He forgot. I don't know, he lived close to Yerushalayim, he's some hermit, some guy. Yes, his head was in the ship. I don't know, he forgot that it's Pesach. He didn't do it on purpose. He forgot that it's Pesach, the poor guy. וכן אם שגג, ככל ששכח שערב פסח, he forgot today is ערב פסח. He comes the next day, in his mind it's tomorrow, and he comes and says, hey, excuse me, what's happening? He comes to the temple the next day, they tell him, you missed it by a day. What are you doing? You should have come yesterday. He says, oh, I made a mistake. I forgot which day of the week it is. Yeah? או נאנס, or he was forced. What does it mean forced? על ידי איזו סיבה שהיא. Yeah, through some other circumstance, he was sick, I don't know, whatever the case was it. ולא עשה את הראשון, and he didn't do the first sacrifice, יעשה את השני, את הפסח השני. He should also do the second sacrifice. So now we have a problem, and it's a major problem. What's the major problem? The verses tells you there's only 2 reasons you can do the first. In the verse, what does it say? In the verse it says, what does it say? טמא לנפש, impure, או בדרך רחוקה. 2 reasons. What about all the other reasons? You should say, if a person didn't do the first Pesach, or anus, do the second Pesach. Or you don't even say, if you didn't do the first, do the second. Why do you have to say, no. Only for these 2 reasons, you can do the second. It looks like for all the other reasons are not good enough. And now the Mishnah tells us,
tell you, או נאנס. It gives you the reason, או נאנס.
It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that.
איזו סיבה שהיא?
No, that's the explanation. That's not the Mishnah. That's not the verse.
No.
Look at the verse. The verse only gives you two things. The Mishnah comes and introduces something. How do you know? Oh, so the question the question God is going to ask on the guy that wrote the Mishnah, he says, how do you know? Where did I say that? I didn't say that. You're inventing stuff.
Right.
So that's a question.
Of course.
So that's what we have to understand. How does the Mishnah know these two things? That's right. So like this. אם כן, so it says, אם כן, אם גם השוגג או האנוס עושים את השנים, so now we discover, the Mishnah says that also the one who was mistaken, or the one who was forced, he's sick, can do the second one, למה נאמר טמא או שהיה בדרך רחוקה? Why does God says, no, only these two reasons, טמא או בדרך רחוקה? If you're telling me anybody can do it, so why are you saying these two reasons? למה כתבה התורה איש איש כי יהיה טמא לנפש ובדרך רחוקה? Why does the Torah specify only for these two reasons? So why? So the Mishnah is going to continue. I'll tell you what God wanted to tell you. There was a message that God wanted to tell you over here. ללמדך, he wanted to tell you שאלו, that these ones, מי שהיה טמא או בדרך רחוקה פטורים מהכרת. It says, those two people that were impure or far away, they're not going to get karet. But all the other ones, will get karet. No, these ones are not going.
Those don't.
Yeah, well, let's see. פטורים מהכרת, in which case, אם לא עשו את הפסח השני. So like this. So here it comes. Yeah. So it says, this is what's going on over here. Listen how beautiful it is. So it says, if a person was impure on the first Pesach, right? And then he didn't bring the second Pesach, the sacrifice on the second Pesach, he's not going to get karet. He's not going to get karet. He didn't want to. He's supposed to do. He's supposed to, but there's no karet because he's included in the first one. That's his main one.
Because he did a punishment for not being there.
Rega, this is a guy that didn't do the Pesach Rishon.
For a good reason.
Was for a good reason.
Impure.
And the Pesach Hasheni, he was far away.
No, Pesach Hasheni, he didn't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. Don't want to become religious. I don't want to be religious anymore. He didn't do it.
Does it say on him that he is going to get on Pesach Sheni if he knows the karet?
He's not going to get karet. He's not because
he had a good reason on the first Pesach.
That's right. Because he had a good reason. It says you already. In other words, the karet was erased after the first Pesach was over.
He had a chance for Pesach Sheni and he didn't.
But Pesach Sheni you don't get karet for. Only for Pesach Rishon you get karet for. The other ones, since they could have done Pesach Rishon,
then they'll get
karet. Then we'll get karet for Pesach Sheni. That's right. That's why it says only these specific two. פטורים מהכרת, אם לא עשו את הפסח שני. So if one was impure on the first Pesach, if he didn't do the Pesach Shena, he's going to not get karet for if he didn't do the Pesach Sheni. לפי שנפטרו מפסח ראשון ונדחו לפסח שני. Because they were pushed away from the first Pesach, God pushed them away to the second Pesach, not them. They didn't decide to push themselves from the Pesach. God pushed them away, and on the second Pesach, there's no karet. Only for the first Pesach there's karet. ובשני לא נאמר חיוב karet. In the second Pesach there's no obligation of karet. כי אם בפסח ראשון. ואלו, but what about those that God did not specify? In other words, they choose not to be there. Not God chose not to be there. It was their fault. Even an anus, which means it's not his fault. But ואלו, מי ששגג או נאנס, somebody who made a mistake or was forced בפסח ראשון, there, if they had the opportunity to bring the second Pesach sacrifice and they didn't, they're going to get karet. חייבים בהכרת. Then they're going to get the karet. אם הזידו. Of course, if they were also נאנס in the second, they're not. But if they on purpose didn't do, in a purpose, אם הזידו, if they on purpose didn't do it. ולא עשו את הפסח השני, and they didn't make the second Pesach. לפי שחייבים היו הפסח ראשון, because for them doing the second Pesach is like doing the first Pesach. אלא מאחר שלא עשו מחמת השגגה או האונס, since they didn't do it because of the mistake or the אונס, נדחו לפסח שני. They were pushed away to the second פסח. הילקח אם הזידו ולא עשו את השני, therefore if they were on purpose did not do the second one, חייבים הם כרת, they're obligated כרת. שנאמר, because it says, והאיש אשר הוא טהור ובדרך לא היה, because it says, a man that was pure and wasn't on the way, וחדל לעשות הפסח, and he stopped from doing the Pesach sacrifice, ונכרתה נפש ההיא מהמאה, and that soul is going to cut away from its nation. ומשמע, and from here we learn, שעל כל שאר שגגות ואונסים שיראו בראשון, on all other mistakes and forced situation that happened in the first one, חוץ ממי שהיה טמא בדרך הקראה, except the one that God specified, impure or far away, חייבים כרת אם לא עשו פסח שני. You're obligated כרת if you didn't try to do at least the פסח שני. וכן מי שהזיד ולא הקריב בראשון, what about somebody that on the פסח ראשון, he wasn't interested in Judaism. And between Pesach Rishon and Pesach Sheni, he did tshuva. And he says, now I want to do. Yeah? וכן אם הזיד ולא הקריב בראשון, so on the first Pesach, he didn't want to do it because he says, I'd rather play video games than bring the Pesach sacrifice. הרי הוא מקריב בשני. So he has to bring now in the second. ואם לא הקריב בשני, אף על פי ששגג. And now, even though it was a mistake, he didn't bring in the second. He mixed up the days, like the previous instance. הרי הוא חייב כרת. Because he should have been doing it in the first one, I'm going to make him now a כרת on the second one, because he was obligated on the first one. He just wasn't religious at the time. שהרי לא הקריב קורבן השם במועדו, והיה מזיד. Because on the first one he did it, he should have done it. So this Mishnah, ביארנו את המשנה לפי הרמב"ם. We explained this Mishnah according to the Rambam. שכך פירושו הכל המפרשים. All the other commentaries explained the same way. אבל מהגמרא משמע, the Gemara, it looks different. שמפרשים את משנתנו בדרך אחרת, that they explain our Mishnah a completely different way. If you want to look in the Gemara, when we learn Gemara, we'll do that, but we're not going to do it now.